What is up, everybody? This is the Xtra Point, wherever you may be and however you may be listening. Live on your radio, on the website, Weagle, whatever our website is, I don't remember. That's a great way to start off the show. Also, Eagle Eye TV will be on there later today, probably. The TuneIn radio app, you can listen to us there. You can listen to us any way you want, no matter what type of media you prefer. I am part of the Xtra Point. I'm Brooks Childress. My co-host today is nobody. Jared Dillard is taking the day off, taking the week off. I'm manning the ship by myself. It's going to be great. It's going to be a fun time. We're going to talk a lot of sprots and a lot of sports. It's just going to be fun. This is fun. All by myself. I don't have an intern. I don't have a co-host. Just 1 hour of me. Hello, world. Welcome to your greatest dream come true. Once we fade the music out, let's jump to our first topic of the day. Over the weekend, we had something that you may be familiar with. It's called the NBA All-Star Game. Now, I'm not a big fan of a lot of All-Star games, like the Pro Bowl, nah. Hockey All-Star Game, not the biggest fan. Soccer's okay, because you get MLS, you get the stars of the MLS playing against one of the big clubs from Europe. MLB, it used to mean something. People would play for it. You know, it meant home field advantage in the playoffs. Not anymore. It's just a fun game. NBA All-Star Game also used not to mean anything. It was just a bunch of guys out there in the backyard playing basketball, except in a 30,000-seat arena. But something magical happened very recently, and it's due to Adam Silver and the NBA. They changed the format. They said, hey, this isn't working. East versus West is not working. No one's playing defense. No one's doing anything. They're just scoring. Like last year. Last year was horrible. It was like 198 or something like that was one of the scores. It's horrible. So, they came up with a plan. They decided, hey, let's make this about the players. We'll give two of the players, make them team captains, Steph Curry and LeBron James. Arguably the two best players in the league right now. Someone could argue KD's better. I would make that argument. KD is better than Steph, but that's a different discussion. So, they make Steph and LeBron captains and say, here's your all-star list. You choose teams. So it still, kind of resembles backyard basketball. But now there's something. Now, this guy picked me. You think, going out there playing, Kevin Durant's like, hey, LeBron picked me. Kyrie's like, hey, LeBron picked me. Klay Thompson's like, hey, Steph picked me. And I think we got a good quality basketball. If you watched it Sunday night, or if you watched All-Star Weekend, it was kind of lax, like it was last year. Three-point contest was Dunk contest was Skills competition, Everything was just meh. There was nothing that jumped out to me over the weekend besides the All-Star Game. It's a change the NBA needed to make to get fans and players re-energized and thinking about, hey, let's actually play this game. And yes, there was some, shenanigans. There was some not really trying, like, I'm going to play like this. And like the bounce lob that LeBron bounce lobbed it to Anthony Davis in I believe the first quarter. So there's still obviously some of that. But other than that, other than a few, instances, it was good basketball. It wasn't the best. It wasn't like playoff basketball, or it wasn't, Warriors versus Cavs basketball. But it was good basketball for an all-star game. And this was one of the first, one of the first. This is probably the second or third all-star game I've sat down and watched. Two of which have been from, the last two have been while I've been here at college. One was before then. None of them really intrigued me until this year. This year's all-star game made me feel like it mattered when it didn't matter. And I think something that they could improve on is maybe televising the draft next year. If they sit down KD, not KD, but if they had LeBron and Steph choose on TV, choose their teams, I think that would have been good TV. And yes, the NBA makes the argument, oh, it could have hurt someone's feelings. Oh, well, you're making, so much money a year, you didn't get picked, Steph didn't pick you, or LeBron didn't pick you. Oh, well, go prove to them why you should have been picked for this All-Star game. The NBA, Adam Silver, made a great decision in changing the format of the All-Star game to match the players, and it doesn't matter. It's just a showcase. It's a weekend for most players to have off, a week for most players to have off. You get a few guys going to entertain the fans for 3 or 4 hours, 3 or 4 days with competitions in the game. It doesn't matter in the long run. You get a star by your name, say you're an all-star. But it doesn't matter in the long run when it comes to the actual season. But it felt like it mattered, and that's what matters. It felt like it mattered. They played like it mattered. It was a 1-point ball game in the last minute, and they were playing. Each team wanted to win. There was some beef out there. Giannis and I believe it was it was Joel Embiid and Russell Westbrook. There was a little beef in there. They pointed it out on the broadcast. It was a great All-Star game. I would have to argue it's the best All-Star game there is now. Since they took away the meaning of the MLB All-Star game, there's not, they're just guys out there playing backyard baseball. If more teams, if more leagues take this approach and cater their all-star game so that make it feel like it matters, and have big names choose your team. MLB, if you got Aaron Judge, well, maybe not Aaron Judge, but if you got Mike Trout and Bryce Harper out there, and you said, hey, here's your list of all-stars, go choose them. It would be great. I would love to see Aaron Judge play on the same team as Bryce Harper. I mean, we'll probably see it in a few years when the Yankees, when Bryce Harper becomes a free agent, the Yankees are like, yep, you're ours now. But, or the NFL, NFL tried it a few years ago with the Deion Sanders Pro Bowl where they picked teams. And I think if you had the actual players, not players that have been retired for a few years, if you had go out there, say, Ben Roethlisberger and Dak Prescott, y'all pick your teams. Here's your list, pick your teams. I think it's a better product of All-Star Game. This All-Star Game made like I said, made me feel like it mattered when it didn't. Everyone played like it mattered when it didn't in the long run. And I think it's good for the sport. I think Adam Silver did a great job, and the NBA did a great job in orchestrating this event. Like always, the skills competitions were a little lax, but the All-Star Game kind of made up for it. If you got the only thing that you can improve on is maybe see if you can get some of the bigger names to participate in those events. It was great watching Steph Curry in that three-point competition. If LeBron came and was like, hey, can I be in the dunk competition? That'd be great. I'd love to watch LeBron dunk. And if you televise the draft, if you say, LeBron, Steph, here's your team, or here's the players, we're going to televise the draft, then I'd watch it. I think a lot of people would watch it, and it would help. The NBA is not struggling, but it would help them. It would make for a better TV product, and that's what you're striving for. As a professional organization, you strive for better TV products. Like the NFL. They instituted on Thursday Night Football the aerial cam behind the quarterback. It makes for a better quality of football. Television football. So, that's my thoughts. NBA All-Star Game, I really enjoyed it. Everyone played like it mattered. So, wow. Doing the solo is not that bad. I've wasted 12 minutes talking about the All-Star Game. And I'm down to one listener, I'm sure. So, the solo hour of the Extra Point will roll on after this. Thank you for joining me and being my guest. Coming up, we'll talk a little bit more NBA. We'll dive into the NFL draft. Who knows what else? We'll talk sprots and sports and all of the above. You're listening to the Extra Point on WEGL 91.1 FM and on Eagle Eye TV Channel 6.
Somebody seen him hanging around at the old dance hall on the outskirts of town. He looked into her eyes when she stopped him to ask if he wanted to dance. He had a face like a mask. She never said nothing, there was nothing she wrote. She gone with the man in the long black coat.
A message from the Alabama Attorney General's office.
I believe that this is a practical world.
And that I can count only on what I earn.
Therefore, I believe in work. Hard work.
I believe in education,
which gives me the knowledge to work wisely
and trains my mind and my hands to work skillfully.
I believe in honesty and truthfulness,
without which I cannot win.
The respect and confidence of my fellow men.
I believe in a sound mind
and a sound body
and a spirit that is not afraid.
That is not afraid.
Not afraid.
And in clean sports
that develop these qualities.
I believe in obedience to law
because it protects the rights of all.
I believe in the human touch,
which cultivates sympathy with my fellow men,
and mutual helpfulness,
and brings happiness for all.
For all.
For all.
I believe in my country
because it is a land of freedom,
and because it is my own home,
and that I can best serve that country
by doing justly,
loving mercy,
and walking humbly with my God.
And because Auburn men
and women
believe in these things.
I believe in Auburn.
I believe in Auburn.
I believe in Auburn.
I believe in Auburn and love it.
And welcome back to the Extra Point on WEGL 91.1 FM, online on whatever our website is, WEGLauburn.com, I believe. I need to write these things down. Eagle Eye TV this afternoon. YouTube, Eagle Eye TV. We're everywhere. We're taking over the world. I'm your host, Brooks Childress. My co-host, Jared Diller, is taking the week off. He's probably vacationing somewhere. Who knows? I lose track of him. It's not my day to keep up with him. So, we spent the first 15 minutes talking about the NBA All-Star Game. I'm sure you're all tired of that. And you're like, hey, why don't we talk about something other than the NBA? I'm like, nah, let's talk about more NBA. I just spent 15 minutes praising Adam Silver and praising the NBA on how they've formatted the All-Star Game. Now, let's talk about something else they're trying to make a major change to. It's playoff seeding. Over the weekend, Adam Silver unveiled a potential new seeding for the playoffs where it's a 1 through 16 seed, no conferences in the playoffs, just best 1 seed, lowest 16 seed. You just let them go. It's a bold concept. It's a good strategy for Adam Silver. Putting it out there now ahead of a potential LeBron James move to the West, which this is what it's all about. They're putting it out there saying, oh, this could be, we've been talking about this for a while. If we do this, soon, it's because we've been talking about it for a while. It's not about any one player. It's about one player. It's about LeBron James. Because LeBron James runs this league. No matter what anyone else says, LeBron James runs the NBA. LeBron James is the face of the NBA. He's the most popular player in the NBA. He turns teams from bad or mediocre to playoff and title contenders. Do you think Cleveland would be a title contender without LeBron right now? No way. No way. Do you think Cleveland was a title contender the first time he was there without LeBron? No, absolutely not. But guess what? They were. LeBron James runs this league. And that's why they're introducing this now. Because if LeBron James jumps to the West, guess what? The stacked West just got even more stacked. And so you have Kyrie and Boston, and who else in the East? Oh, he's got John Wall. No, John Wall's not leading a team to the finals. Oh, you got DeMar DeRozan in Toronto. DeMar DeRozan's not leading a team to the finals. Oh, you've got, no. Well, there's no. What about Kristaps? No. If LeBron James goes to the West, there's one team in the East that can compete for a title. And that's Boston. So this move is fully based on LeBron James going to the West. So it's not a bad idea to have a 1 through 16 seed. The only problem is you want your better teams, you want your best teams, and you want your best players playing longer into the postseason. So you could get, and seeding's not always seeding's not always relevant. LeBron and the Cavs are going to make a finals run, at least to the conference finals, maybe to the NBA finals. They may be a 3 seed. They may be a 4 seed. Steph and the Warriors, they're the best team in the West. They're going to be a 2 seed. Houston will be the 1 seed. You've got so many good teams, and if you have a 1 through 16 team, guess what? If 1 through 16, if LeBron and the Cavs are a, 6 seed, they could play a 1 seed. You want to see LeBron in the finals. You want to see Steph Curry in the finals. But they could play in the quarterfinals. They could play in the first round based on seeding. Probably not, because I don't think LeBron wouldn't be a 16 seed. But this move it's not a bad move. I think you could work it into any sport, putting in, a 1 through whatever seed in any sport. It would work. It'd be good TV. You just have one bracket down. But for what the NBA wants to do, they want their stars playing deeper into the postseason because that puts ratings up. If you've got, a conference semifinals of Steph Curry and the Warriors versus the Nuggets for some reason, that's not drawing as much publicity and not as much TV hype as Steph versus James Harden and the Rockets, or Steph versus Russell Westbrook and Paul George and the Thunder. It's not. You can't. There's no argument you can make that can. The NBA, if they went to the 16 seed, it is purely based on if LeBron James moves to Los Angeles. And no one knows if LeBron James will actually move to Los Angeles. Everyone is all in, like, oh, LeBron's going to LA. LeBron's going to LA. LeBron has never been out front of where he's going. We didn't know until a day before he made the announcement he was going to Miami. No one knew where he was going. And they said, hey, guess what? Going to South Beach. I'm like, whoa. And then we kind of suspected he would go back to Cleveland, but no one knew for sure. So LeBron runs this league. He is potentially changing the format of the playoffs because of how much he runs the league and how much he affects movement in the league. All right, we're going to seamlessly segue to the NFL draft. Coming up here, week or two, we got the Combine. April, May, whenever the draft is, we'll have big names being selected. There's two things I want to talk about, both involving quarterbacks. Cleveland has the first pick in the draft. And all the mock drafts say, guess what, they're going to take Sam Darnold. Sam Darnold's a great college quarterback. I loved watching him at USC. I don't know if Sam Darnold's the guy for Cleveland. I don't think he's as polished. I don't think he's pro-ready. If you're going to get a first-round number 1 overall pick, you need to make sure that person can play because that's a big investment. If I'm Cleveland, I'm taking Josh Rosen out of the two top quarterbacks. I'm taking Josh Rosen. He's much more polished. He's more NFL ready at the moment. Sam Darnold needs some work, and if he sits behind a quarterback, he could or could not get better. We don't know. Sam Darnold, in my opinion, needed another year in college, but he's coming out. Cleveland, if they take Josh Rosen, I think they have an NFL quarterback then that can help them compete in the North. Not this year, but a few years down the line, when Roethlisberger finally retires and Joe Flacco has fizzled into not the quarterback we saw win a Super Bowl a few years back. And then what do you have in Cincinnati? Cleveland, if you get the right quarterback, I think Cleveland, after LeBron, or I almost took it back to LeBron, after Ben Roethlisberger leaves, I think Cleveland can make some playoff runs. The other quarterback I want to talk about is a small, undersized quarterback from the University of Oklahoma. 2-time walk-on, Baker Mayfield. You are fools if you draft him in the first round. Baker Mayfield is not a franchise quarterback. I've seen mock drafts having him going to the Giants 2nd overall. That's ludicrous. I've seen him going to the Jets. As a fan of the Patriots, I'd welcome that. Baker Mayfield is Johnny Manziel 2.0. Maybe not the excessive partying, but there is a video of him running from police and getting tackled by police, which, like I've said on the show before, someone get that police officer a scholarship if he's got any eligibility left, because no one could do that this year. Baker Mayfield is undersized. There's a reason he was a 2-time walk-on. Baker Mayfield is undersized. He may be mobile and athletic on the ground. He's not a franchise quarterback. He's not leading your franchise to a Super Bowl. He's maybe with the right offensive coordinator, maybe a playoff spot. But you need a really good offensive coordinator. You need a Sean McVay or someone. Doug Peterson, maybe. Doug Peterson did a good job with helping Nick Foles guide him through the playoffs. But Baker Mayfield is not a franchise quarterback for anyone's future. All right. I've been really serious these last two segments. I don't know if it's going to get better. I like it. I like doing this solo show. Jared, if you're listening, you're not coming back. I'm taking over forever. All right. We'll head to break. You're listening to The Extra Point, WEGL 91.1 FM.
This is a place where it only takes a second to imagine your future. Grasp a new concept in class. Inspire a child's curiosity. Discover a real-world solution. Seize an unexpected opportunity.
There goes Davis!
This is where you gain the preparation, confidence, and determination to succeed. This is Auburn.
So, I'm kind of new here, but I've noticed a trend. My human does this funny thing where she goes around and gets all my toys, and then she hides them in that basket by the door. It's like, hello, that's where you put it last time. You were the worst at hide and go seek.
If you don't fix them, sparks from dragging tow chains could cause a wildfire, and that could be scary.
Hi, Smokey.
Only you can prevent wildfires.
See on page 4 that the projections need to be tornado next Thursday.
Seriously? Thursday? Can't do that.
This is really inconvenient.
I have yoga that day. I have no time for this. So.
I can't do Thursday, but I can do Friday.
Disasters don't plan ahead. You can. Talk to your loved ones about how you're going to be ready in an emergency. Don't wait. Communicate.
And welcome back to The Extra Point on WEGL 91.1 FM. I'm your host, Brooks Childress. Jared Dillard is off today somewhere, hopefully on a nice cozy beach on vacation. Or he could just be working or, something. So, we've talked NBA All-Star Game. We've talked the NBA. Now let's bring on someone that knows a little bit something about the NBA. He is the host, one of the co-hosts of SportsCall here in Auburn on Tiger 93.9 in the afternoons from 4 to 6 p.m. He also does some play-by-play work with the Auburn Sports Network, calling some Auburn softball. Let's welcome in the one, the only, Joshua Jackson. JJ, how are you doing today?
I'm doing well, Brooks. What a lovely introduction that was for me. I tell you what, I'm not on any sort of cozy beach today like your co-host might be, but I can't complain, man. Life is good. Thanks for having me on.
Well, it's great to talk to you, have you on today. Great to have a phone interview. This is something new for me. So we talked in the first segment. I talked in the first segment about the NBA All-Star Game. Just give us your thoughts. You watched the All-Star Game. Give us your thoughts about the game, the weekend. How do you think it went?
The game particularly, I thought was absolutely spectacular. You know, with the new format, as I'm sure you talked about, having to draft players and letting there be two captains, I thought that was so much fun, and it brought so much excitement to the game. But I think the most important thing was just how hard the players played the entire night. You still had the flashy dunks and everything like that. It was still super high scoring, which is what you expect out of the All-Star game. But, I mean, in that fourth quarter, when you look at the final 3 minutes of that game, the intensity level was just at an all-time high for the All-Star game. I was so in love with it. I had so much fun watching it. I mean, when the ball goes off of Embiid's foot and, you know, LeBron's team is asking for a replay and they're super invested in just trying to get the ball back in an All-Star game like that, I don't think you could have asked for a better performance. And then for LeBron to win his third MVP award, that was just great to see.
Yeah, I talked about how the new format, the way everyone played, it felt like the game meant something when it actually didn't mean anything. It was just a regular All-Star game, but it felt different.
Right. I mean, you know, there was money donated to charities on both sides, so there was a little bit of cash incentive as well. But to sit there and know that, okay, well, LeBron drafted me or LeBron didn't draft me, Steph drafted me, I just feel like, and it starts with a guy like LeBron James. He is the best player in the world. He's an NBA player that all the other guys look up to, the oldest All-Star there. And once they saw how hard LeBron was playing, I think other guys wanted to do the same, and it made a great product on the floor.
Other things that were mentioned this weekend, Adam Silver unveiled a new potential playoff seeding bracket, 1 through 16, no conferences, just everyone 1 through 16 seeds. What is your thoughts on that?
I think it's definitely very interesting to possibly, you know, seed them 1 to 16 and then match them up that way, regardless of conference. But I wouldn't be a fan of it. I think it would take a while to get used to. I love the Eastern and Western Conference deal, and I know the concern is that if LeBron bolts to go to the Western Conference, then what are we to make of the Eastern Conference? I just think another team would emerge, and you would still have a good Eastern Conference on both sides, whereas you're not always guaranteed to have this 1 to 16 format be that exciting. And when you're making cross-country trips, you know, say the Knicks are playing the Clippers, or you know, that far of a road trip in the first round or second round, I think it gets excessive, and the cost is going to go up. And so I wouldn't be a fan of that format.
And also another problem that I brought up was the NBA wants their stars playing deeper into the playoffs, and you want the premier matchups later in the playoffs. Seeding's not always the best. The Rockets are probably going to get the 1 seed in the West. Steph will be 2 in the Warriors. And LeBron and the Cavs could be a 3 seed, and you would have more stars playing each other in the earlier rounds, and that would take away from the later round action, and you could potentially, see a Denver or a Utah that isn't really star-driven that deep into the playoffs.
Sure. I think that, as you said, stars drive this league. NBA ratings are at an all-time high, and I think that just with social media, first and foremost, and that fans can really feel like they connect with basketball players. I mean, they're not wearing helmets or anything like that, and you see them in all these different commercials, and you really get a sense to get to know these guys. And so each year we should look forward to the later rounds, the Eastern Conference Finals and the Western Conference Finals, and then the finals have all of those stars. I really look forward to LeBron and Kevin Durant squaring off in the NBA Finals, if that's what it's going to be this year. That I don't want to see that in the first round. I want it to mean something when you get to it in the later rounds.
Absolutely. Also in the NBA, we've passed the halfway point of the season. We get back to basketball Friday night. Is there any team not with LeBron or Steph Curry on it that you can see making a run here down the stretch to either get a playoff seed or make a run and challenge LeBron or Steph Curry for the titles in their respective conferences.
Yeah, sure. I think that in the West, I do think the Rockets are going to be a serious challenge for the Warriors. I think that anytime you shoot the number of threes that they do, it's ridiculous the number of three-pointers they're shooting. I think that you're going to see high-scoring games, and the Rockets have incredible shooting on their team, so they're going to give the Warriors a run for their money. I think the Celtics, led by Kyrie Irving, with the playoff experience that he has, I think that they could really challenge LeBron in the East. I've done myself a disservice in not paying as much attention to the Raptors this season, but yet again, Toronto is playing great basketball, and they expect and intend to be a contender once it comes to the Eastern Conference Finals. These last 20 or so games, I would really encourage folks to start watching Toronto because they are a good team, and I'd really like to know what they're made of come playoff time. But at the end of the day, Brooks, I really do think it's going to be a Cavs and Warriors finals. I think we're going to get to see the fourth matchup of this in a row, and we'll see who comes out on top this year.
You don't think the Celtics can upset the Cavaliers in the playoffs?
I don't think so. I think that once you get LeBron focused, at the end of the day, he's the best player in the world. And when I just look at the Celtics and their frontline depth, I think that's asking a lot out of the young Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown to say, hey, I need you to go and guard LeBron. And I think that LeBron has a way of, slowing down Kyrie Irving. And Al Horford is a key focal point of the Celtics roster, but Al Horford, whether it be in Boston last year or his years in Atlanta, has never been that good when he's having to match up against Kevin Love. Love does a great job of taking him out of the matchup. I think that Boston is the second best team in the East. It wouldn't surprise me if they beat the Cavs. I just don't see it happening.
And final question, we're going to look past the finals, look past this NBA season, into the offseason. There's been a lot of talk about LeBron James leaving for L.A. Sure. And everyone's already sold. They're like, oh, LeBron's going to be a Laker. LeBron's going to be a Laker. We didn't know LeBron was going to Miami until a day or two before he made the announcement. It was out of the blue. Now, if LeBron can't get a Paul George or a superstar to go with him to L.A., is there another place you could see him ending up besides the Cavaliers?
I think Houston is definitely an interesting option. With James Harden and Chris Paul down there, I don't know financially how that would work out. I also wouldn't be surprised if, ESPN was reporting that the Golden State Warriors could be a possibility. And if LeBron is so set on winning championships and chasing the ghost of Michael Jordan, then I would encourage him that if that's what he would love to do, why not go team up with Steph Curry and Kevin Durant and Draymond Green? I think that financially it would cost the Warriors Klay Thompson and Iguodala and who knows who else. But if you're telling me that you're going to have LeBron and KD and Steph Curry on the same team, I think a lot of people are going to be upset, but you know that everybody's going to watch because they want to see what that product's going to be like. So I don't think LeBron goes to the Lakers if he doesn't get Paul George or somebody like that, because I think he's aware of the fact that he's 33 years old and he can see the end of his career upcoming, and I don't think he wants to take the time to build up other people. But so outside of the Lakers, I think the Warriors and Rockets are interesting possibilities.
It's great takes right there, Joshua.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for being on here. Thank you for sharing your NBA knowledge. That's JJ Jackson. He's co-host of the critically acclaimed SportsCall on Tiger 93.9 here locally, and he's also works with play-by-play for Auburn softball. JJ, thank you so much for joining us today.
Brooks, I appreciate it. I look forward to coming conversations with you and Jared, and who knows, next time I may have to be at the beach and call in to talk with you and Jared.
Well, listen, we will always welcome you here with open arms.
Appreciate it, boss. Talk to you soon.
Thank you. JJ Jackson on the phone there. Interesting takes. Houston, Golden State, potential landing spots for LeBron. I like it. So, we'll be back here on the Extra Point on WEGL 91.1 FM. In just a few minutes, we'll talk some NCAA basketball. talk about some Auburn basketball heading to the home stretch, headed for the tournaments. You're listening to the Xtra Point on WEGL 91.1 FM.
Fans, direct your attention to the flagpole for a special presentation.
You never really leave Auburn, because Auburn never leaves you.
So, I just moved in with this family, and it's embarrassing. The little one, he likes to go outside and crawl around in the giant litter box. I don't know what he's doing. I mean, I was born and I knew how to use the litter box. Look at that. That's disgusting. Oh, poop already. You're making me nervous. Oh, okay, I can't look at this anymore. I really hope he grows out of this, for his sake.
I hope that you've been able to learn a strong work ethic surrounded by character, integrity, perseverance, so that when your 1 second comes, you'll be prepared for it.
Chris Davis. 45. There goes Davis.
Your 1 second, our 1 second is now. And our lives have been guided by the principles of one of the greatest academic institutions in the country, Auburn University.
I believe this is a practical world and that I can count only on what I earn. Therefore, I believe in work, hard work.
I believe in education, which gives me the knowledge to work wisely and trains my mind and my hands to work skillfully.
I believe in honesty and truthfulness, without which I cannot win the respect and confidence of my fellow men.
I believe in a sound mind, in a sound body, in a spirit that is not afraid, and in a clean sport that develops these qualities.
I believe in obedience to the law because it protects the rights of all.
I believe in human touch, which cultivates sympathy with my fellow men and mutual helpfulness and brings happiness for all.
I believe in my country because it is a land of freedom and because it is my home, and that I can best serve that country by doing justly, loving mercy, and walking humbly with my God.
And because Auburn men and women believe in these things, I believe in Auburn and love it.
And welcome back to the Xtra Point on WEGL 91.1 FM. I'm your host, Brooks Childress, Jared Dillard, of course, taking the week off. Hopefully in a log cabin somewhere in the mountains, enjoying some cool weather. It's been rather warm lately. Let's jump into some more basketball. We talked about a lot of basketball today. If you didn't want to talk about basketball, this wasn't the show to listen to. Let's talk about some NCAA basketball now. As we hit the home stretch headed for the tournament, the Auburn Tigers are sitting at number 12 in the nation right now. Latest AP poll out yesterday. A projected 2 seed in the tournament. They've been playing well. Auburn basketball has been playing really well lately. Surprised a lot of people. They've been sporting the 4-14 shirt. That's what some writers thought they were going to be in the SEC. Could be the other way around. They could be 14-4. Now, the Tigers hit a major setback this weekend with the loss of Anthony McLemore. Dislocated his ankle, fractured his tibia. It's a 4 to 6 month injury. I believe yesterday Bruce Pearl said it would be more on the side of 4 months after the surgery. Doctor said it went really well. Good for him. You never want to see an injury like that. I was watching the game Saturday. You never want to see an injury like that. I've seen too many of those recently. The Gordon Hayward injury at the beginning of the NBA season. This one, oh. But this Auburn basketball team is something special. I think with the loss of McLemore, it's going to hurt them. because that's a big man that he plays in the paint, gets some blocks at the rim. Horace Spencer, Chuma Okeke, they're going to have to step up. I think the Auburn team can make a run in the tournament. Maybe not that far, maybe not a Final Four run. There are a lot of good teams. Villanova's a great team this year. Purdue's a great team this year. West Virginia, Kansas is a mediocre Kansas team, but that's still better than a lot of teams. If Trae Young gets on fire, Oklahoma's a force to be reckoned with. There's a lot of good teams in this tournament. I think Auburn can make a run, maybe an Elite Eight run, dare I say. But this Auburn team is something I haven't seen ever, really, since I've been paying attention to Auburn basketball. There's something special about this team. They've got chemistry. They've got an it factor. It's not there every game, as we saw Saturday against South Carolina, and we saw against Texas A&M a few weeks ago, Alabama a few weeks back. It's not there every week. But when it's there, it's there. And you know it. And you watch them play, and you're like, wow, this is good basketball. Bruce Pearl is doing wonders with this team. It's going to be tough tomorrow night as they take on Alabama here at home. Coach Avery Johnson, Colin Sexton. It's going to be a tough one. It's going to be loud in Auburn Arena tomorrow night too. The Jungle, all the Auburn fans will turn out for this game just like they did for Kentucky last week. Excuse me. But Auburn basketball, I think this Bruce Pearl's finally gotten his team together this year. And for a few years now, as long as Bruce Pearl's here, if everything's, sails smoothly recruiting-wise and non-violation-wise, I think Auburn basketball is going to be really good for a few years. And this is just the beginning. So, this has been fun. I really like doing this show by myself. I don't think anyone else did. Y'all may be like, oh, why won't this guy stop talking? Is it over? It's almost over. Don't worry. Jared should be back next week. This dynamic duo will be back together. The Xtra Point lives on without Jared. It's fine. So that's it. You survived an hour with me. Congratulations. I survived an hour in the studio by myself. Got everything hooked up, hopefully correctly. Don't forget, you can listen to The Xtra Point every Tuesday at 1 o'clock right here on WEGL 91.1 FM. Online on our website, WEGL.com. Whatever the website is. I really need to write that down. I'm sure it's posted somewhere around. The podcast will be up on SoundCloud, on iTunes, under WEGL. A little while. Can't tell you the exact time. We always keep pushing that back. We'll be on Eagle Eye later this afternoon. On YouTube, we're everywhere. We're just everywhere. You can find us anywhere you look for us, you can find us. Except for eBay. We're not on eBay yet. So, I'm Brooks Childress. Thank you so much for joining me. This has been The Xtra Point. We'll see you back here, same time, same place, next week. And don't forget, keep rowing your boat.
Even the best of us forget sometimes. But buckling up is one thing you always want to remember. Seatbelts save lives. Drive safe, Alabama. A message from your Alabama Department of Transportation.